Just over 6 weeks ago, Naughty Dog released The Last of Us Part 2 and received a very divisive and very loud response. But whether you loved it or loathed it, we can all agree that having our complicated father-daughter duo back on screens was a welcome return. Joel and Ellie's tense and complex relationship is at the core of both of The Last of Us games, which got me thinking. Since so many video games are exploring family themes, what can we learn from video games' best parents? Because what else are video games if not a substitute for your own real-life familial relationships and their shortfalls? I am legally obliged to say that I am joking. I'm sorry, Mum. But here we have it, the best parents in video games and what they can teach us about being a parent. God of War introduced Kratos not only to the world of Norse mythology, but also to that of fatherhood. After many years settled into as normal a life as possible for a god dealing with some serious anger issues, Kratos and Atreus set out to complete their late wife/mother's request to travel to the highest peak in the Nine Realms, which makes up the narrative. Throughout the course of the game, we watch Kratos learn how to truly be a father to Atreus. Where he was once absent and neglectful, he becomes willing to open up to his son and guide him to be better than he ever was. It really is some powerful stuff. But what can we take away from Kratos? Well, to be a better parent, you have to put in effort to be better yourself. Obviously. Now, you might be asking, Alex, why is career criminal Michael de Santana in this list? Well, he's a dad, isn't he? And maybe his techniques are a little unique, from hunting down goons to save his son as he hides in the bathroom of a stolen yacht, to locating and maybe killing his daughter's stalker. Michael is a caricature of a crime boss father, and so are his kids, who are flattered by his often violent ways of showing love. And while most people don't play GTA for these character moments and arcs, the journey that Michael goes on to reunite and reconnect with his family is one of the most interesting and entertaining in the series. The important takeaway from Father de Santana is that you can't just tell your kids you love them, you have to use your actions to show it. See, I made him relevant. In the interactive story and mobile game Florence, Florence's mother, Mrs. Yo, with her strict expectations and overly involved nature, is unsurprisingly antagonistic. The two's relationship is strained to say the least. While you rush through the fittingly dull puzzles, you feel Florence's quiet desperation for her conversations with her mother to end. Hey, we've all been there. Sorry, Mum. But Mrs. Yo never gives up and continually shows Florence that she's there for her. The game follows their reconciliation, and at the very emotional peak of the story, it's her mum that Florence calls, and that's the only active call she makes in the entirety of the game. What Mrs. Yo tells us about being a parent is, no matter your past issues, if you're there for your child when they're ready to open up and talk to you, just listen. Whether she's mum, mom, mother, or Joanna, your Pokémon player character has one of the best mothers out there. Making very brief appearances in almost every Pokémon game, your mum will be there to wake you up, to pick your starter companion, and then to wave you off on your journey. Of course, with some running shoes, or another appropriate leaving gift in tow. Not only that, but like any good cooking, baking, snack-giving mother, your mum will be sure to heal your party if you've gotten into a few scrapes. Although she has a very small role, Pokemother's lesson is invaluable. She teaches us that giving your kids freedom is key. But maybe you shouldn't let them hitchhike, and sleep in a tent, and carry out pet fights. That's still up for jury. I would be letting myself down and my brand if I didn't bring up Horizon Zero Dawn's touching father-daughter relationship. Aloy's adopted father, Rost, is an outcast of the Nora tribe himself. He understands the hurt that Aloy experiences and does everything he can for her to gain that acceptance which she's always desired and, especially in his eyes, deserved. He often hides his caring nature, instead remaining strict, leading her through rigorous training so that when the time comes, she will be able to prove herself to the tribe and be received by the matriarchs, even though he knows that Aloy will be forbidden to meet him again if she is accepted. Rost, as a parent, tells us that sometimes putting the needs of your kids before your own is the most important thing you can do. Another serious one for you. And finally, Joel. The grisly, hard-worn but deeply caring smuggler goes from tragedy to tragedy, losing his daughter Sarah on Outbreak Day, losing society completely,
and then losing his partner Tess shortly after meeting the scrawny, sarcastic Ellie. As he begrudgingly takes her across the post-pandemic United States to reach the Fireflies, we watch him open up to her and allow himself to care and love her, his baby girl. She similarly opens up to him, something new for her as well, and for once finds someone who sticks with her through thick and thin, even if he does make some interesting choices.
It's hard to pinpoint exactly what Joel can teach us as a parent, especially considering how endlessly debatable his decision at the end of The Last of Us is. But I guess he tells us that being a parent isn't easy. I certainly don't envy my own parents. So there you have it. I hope you've had fun and maybe learned something from these valuable lessons from video games' best parents and me, a child. But hey, The Last of Us Part 2 was incredible. I mean, that chiastic narrative and Abby's design and also the